So here we are, the 250th. It's a big deal for a tenuous, fragile, crazy thing like a democracy, but it's a beautiful thing. And when we think about the 4th of July, we typically think about forefathers, men back in the day who were slaving away trying to discover the language that expressed their emotions. And so it's odd, when I was just combing the mighty internet, I came across something that surprised me. In 1859, Abraham Lincoln was running for Senate. This was not the man that eventually became one of the greatest presidents of all time. Few people knew who he really was. But barely 100 years after the Declaration was signed, Lincoln felt that it had already been forgotten, that it was some arcane document tucked away somewhere and people had moved on and were already scheming and divining ways to circumvent systems and governments. And on some level it bothered him. And he felt that it was a relevant and important and appropriate rallying cry. And he wrote a speech that, if read today, would be as appropriate as it was in 1859. I was really struck by that. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. It was a long speech. I'm just going to give you some excerpts from that speech. And I think you'll see how it might land today. It was very interesting to me. Imagine a young Abraham Lincoln, and not my voice. My countrymen, if you have been taught doctrines that conflict with the great landmarks of the Declaration of Independence, if you have listened to suggestions which would take away from its grandeur and mutilate the fair symmetry of its proportions, if you have been inclined to believe that all men are not created equal in those inalienable rights enumerated in our Charter of Liberty, let me entreat you to come back. Return to the fountain whose waters spring close by the blood of the Revolution. Think nothing of me. Take no thought for the political fate of any man whomsoever, but come back to the truths that are in the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration was formed by the representatives of American liberty from 13 states. These communities, by their representatives in Old Independence Hall, said to the whole world of men, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This was their majestic interpretation of the economy of the universe. This was their lofty, wise, and noble understanding of the justice of the Creator to his creatures. Yes, to all his creatures, to the whole great family of man. In their enlightened belief, nothing stamped with the divine image and likeness was sent into the world to be trodden on and degraded and imbruted by its fellows. Those representatives grasped not only the whole race of man then living, but they reached forward and seized upon the farthest posterity. They erected a beacon to guide their children and their children's children and the countless myriads who should inhabit the earth in other ages. Wise statesmen as they were, they knew the tendency of prosperity to breed tyrants. And so they established these great self-evident truths that when in the distant future, some man, some faction, some interest should set up the doctrine that none but rich men or none but white men were entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, their posterity might look up again to the Declaration of Independence and take courage to renew the battle for which their fathers began. so that truth, justice, mercy, and all the humane virtues might not be extinguished from the land, so that no man hereafter dare to limit and circumscribe the great principles on which the Temple of Liberty was being built. Lincoln, who was running for Senate at the time, finished by saying that it didn't matter which politician people voted for or which party they belonged to. What matters was upholding the ideals of the Declaration of Independence. I charge you to drop every paltry, insignificant thought for any man's success, Lincoln said. It is nothing. I am nothing. Judge Douglas, Lincoln's rival, is nothing. But do not destroy that immortal emblem of humanity, the Declaration of Independence. So this July 4, I hope we can all take a moment to reflect on the meaning of the Declaration of Independence. You heard Bill's words. It goes beyond politics. It goes beyond partisanship. It's more than just a historical artifact. It is the foundation on which our nation rests. A nation we are obviously grateful to call home.